p.m. here in Cairo, time for Panorama News. I'm Niveen Ramzi and I will start with the main headlines. President Sisi inaugurates Egypt's 2022 petroleum show. Cairo hosts 13th Islamic Waqf Ministers Executive Council meetings. Ukraine leader invites Biden to visit Kiev in coming days. Welcome back. The news in full. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi on Monday said Egypt's Decent Life initiative projects in rural areas cost $40 billion in recent 7 years. The remarks came as the president inaugurated Egypt's annual Egypt's Petroleum Show in Cairo. More details.
The remark was made as he inaugurated Egypt's annual Egypt's Petroleum Show in Cairo. Commenting on a ministerial discussion panel during the conference, the president said that Africa is the least developed region due to era-long colonization in its early modern history. President Sisi added that the continent should not continue to bear the consequences of this dark episode in the history. He also stressed that the need for balanced and fair decisions to be taken during the upcoming UN meeting COP27 on combating climate change in order to ensure Africa is not paying the price for its underdevelopment twice. President Sisi noted that Egypt was one of the few countries in the world that not only withstood the coronavirus repercussion but also achieved economic growth. The president also added that this remarkable response was the outcome of the continued and consistent work while taking due precautions along the guidelines of the World Health Organization. The president said that Egypt spent nearly $400 billion in infrastructure projects over 7 years, including $40 billion spent in Decent Life Initiatives projects in rural areas. The Egypt's exhibition and conference began on Monday and continues for 3 days. This year's edition is themed as North Africa and Mediterranean Delivering Energy. A ministerial discussion panel is tackling a unified vision for Africa and climate change. The exhibition is attended by oil and energy ministers from several countries, including UAE, Iraq, and Nigeria, together with chiefs of leading local and multinational corporations. Egypt is a key platform in energy calendar where participants usually address evolving opportunities in global oil and energy markets in panels.
In his speech during Egypt's exhibition and conference, Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources Tariq El-Molla said that the conference succeeded to be a vital platform at which main players of petroleum and gas industry meet. El-Molla added that along past 7 years, the state media endeavors to consolidate social equality, pointing to Egypt's success in achieving positive economic growth despite the coronavirus pandemic. El-Molla said that the increase in petroleum exports is considered one of the most prominent achievements of the ministry in the past 2 years, pointing to the leap that took place by increasing gas stations to reach 600 stations. In another context, El-Molla underscored that Egypt made an initiative of holding a Mediterranean gas forum 3 years ago as an example of regional cooperation in the Eastern Mediterranean. He also succeeded that Egypt's hosting climate change COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh is a chance to boost the state's regional and international efforts in protecting the environment, introducing an African joint initiative to find balanced and scientific solutions for climate change. Addressing the conference, Commissioner for Infrastructure and Energy of the African Union Commission, Dr. Amani Abu Zaid, at Decent Life Project said the priority is for the natural gas at countryside projects. She said that 600 million Africans are in need of electricity and that Africa is in need for priorities like water, energy and digital connections, which will be provided by Decent Life. In his speech, President of energy company GNG, Christopher Hudson, said Egypt's exhibition and conference contributes to forming concepts of petroleum and energy industry, saying that Egypt is playing a great role in power industry. For his part, Executive Director of International Energy Agency, Fatih Birol, said that Egypt has managed to benefit from gas assets and great transformation in electricity market after upgrading it. He added that Egypt managed to achieve a surplus in electricity after shortages and increasing subsidies, in addition to depending on solar energy, which attracted large number of investments. On the sidelines of Egypt's International Petroleum Exhibition, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Executive Director of British Petroleum, Bernard Looney. Presidential spokesperson said the meeting tackled boosting cooperation and reviewing the situation of the company's work and its investment plans in the upcoming years in the fields of research and exploration of oil in Egypt. At the meeting, President Sisi stressed Egypt's support, welcoming enhancing relations between the two sides, which pushes Egypt's endeavors to be a center for exchanging energy in the region. For his part, Looney hailed wise leadership of President Sisi, praising the remarkable relations between Egypt and Britain in different fields. Cairo on Monday hosted the 13th convention of the Islamic Endowments Ministers Executive Council that is held under the chairmanship of Saudi Minister of Endowments Abdel Latif El-Sheikh. In an opening address, Minister of Islamic Endowments Mohammed Mukhtar Gom'a said the meetings would tackle the main issues facing the Islamic world. The minister stressed the importance of specialization in Islamic scholastic affairs, mainly in regards to issuing fatwas. The endowments ministers will review member states' experiences and different approaches in building and maintaining mosques, in recruiting imams, preachers, and dawah specialists. They would also exchange expertise in facing extremist thoughts and hatred speech while encouraging shared humanist values of coexistence and tolerance. Arab coalition fighting rebels in Yemen destroyed a communication system on Monday used for drone attacks and located near the telecoms ministry in Sana'a. The coalition said the raids were in response to a drone attack Thursday on a Saudi airport near the border, which left 12 injured by falling debris after the Saudi military blew up the bomb-laden projectile. The coalition had warned it would strike positions from which the Houthis launched drones in Sana'a and asked civilians to leave civilians areas used for military purposes. Yemeni Houthis have frequently launched drone attacks at targets in the kingdom, including airports and oil installations. Head of the Sudanese Sovereign Council, Burham Abdel Fattah Burham, met with the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki, in Khartoum to discuss the political issues in Sudan. Sudanese international relations expert Dr. Rashid Ibrahim said any agreement or initiative will support the stability strategy in Africa. He added that this will support the dialogue that was started by Mr. Volker Perthes, Special Representative for the United Nations Secretary General, and was supported by the Sovereign Council. Faki will meet also with opposition parties to listen to discuss their views during his two-day visit to the country. Lawmakers in the Libyan capital of Tripoli began talks on Sunday on the future of their government, more than a month after the country failed to hold its first presidential election. The first Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Fawzi Inweri, invited deputies to the meeting to coordinate efforts in the roadmap. The meeting between 46 deputies came before session on Monday, in which the Libyan House of Representatives will discuss choosing a new prime minister. Al-Nuwairi said after the meeting that the session aims to create a state of consensus with all Libyan parties in order to move forward within a roadmap that will prioritize elections and the constitutional base. Israeli forces have shot dead a 17-year-old Palestinian in West Bank clashes during what Israel on Monday described as an operation to demolish the home of a man suspected of a recent attack. The Palestinian Health Ministry said Mohammed Abu Saleh was killed in a village near the flashpoint town of Jenin in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. Israel's army in a statement said its troops, along with border police, and entered the village to demolish the floor of the residence in which the Palestinian suspect resided. Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky invited U.S. President Joe Biden to visit Kiev to show Washington's support in the face of a feared Russian invasion. The White House said that Biden reaffirmed the commitment of the United States to Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. More details.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz lands in Kiev on Monday before visiting Moscow to try to head off a very critical threat of a Russian invasion that would spark the worst crisis in Europe since the Cold War. Scholz's visit comes with Kiev seeking an urgent meeting with Russia explaining why it has deployed more than 100,000 soldiers to Ukraine's borders, while arguing with the NATO about its post-Soviet expansion into countries once under the Kremlin's domain. The West has remained united and defiant in the face of the Putin's demands for binding security guarantees that would see the US-led defense alliance roll back its force and rule out Ukraine's potential membership. But US intelligence officials worry that weeks of crisis talks have given Russia the time to prepare a major offensive should Putin make the ultimate decision to attack Ukraine. Ukraine requested to form a meeting with Moscow and members of the OSCE, pan-European security body, explaining their enforcement and movement of the Russian forces along the border. The Ukrainian presidency said Zelensky had also urged Biden to visit Kyiv in the coming days in a show of moral support. The White House said that Biden reaffirmed the commitment of the United States to Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The White House said that the two leaders agreed on the importance of continuing to pursue diplomacy and deterrence in response to Russia's military buildup on Ukraine's border. Zelensky's office said that the two leaders had discussed potential economic sanctions against Russia should it invade its western neighbor, having surrounded it with more than 100,000 troops in the past weeks.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and we're glad to be joined over the phone by Dr. Raouf Ghaffar, political analyst. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you, my dear.
Dr. Raouf, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi inaugurated today Egypt's exhibition and conference. How do you see the significance of this event taking place right now?
The fact that the president inaugurates any event means that this event is important, and our president is giving every single event its importance. I mean,
yes.
He is into everything. He wants to upgrade Egypt in every possible way, and his presence in all the functions and all the events and all the meetings and all the forums, first of all, it gives them more and more weight and importance, and it shows that he is concerned with the Egyptian people and in every small detail of their lives. So
yes.
the fact that he is there is in itself very important and gives a big significance to the event itself and to his care about all Egyptians.
Yes. Dr. Ghaffar, the event, the conference is succeeded to be a vital platform at which main players of petroleum and gas industry meet. What's your take on that?
Thank God, Egypt is becoming, with neighboring countries, a hub for gas. In the East Mediterranean area, and we are becoming an important player in this product and this industry. So we have liquefaction plants which we provide services for neighboring countries, and we are producing gas in reasonable quantities that are almost in their way to self-sufficiency and into export after that. And thank God again, the prospect for oil in Egypt is big, and we hope that discoveries will follow and the quantity of production will increase. And this, of course, will take us to another area, another dimension. we
Yes.
will become an important, once again, player
Yes.
in this industry, particularly that we've seen that lately prices are getting higher, and this again will mean that we are becoming more important, and hopefully our income will increase. So I sincerely hope and pray that more and more discoveries take place, and we become more and more involved in this production and industry, and of course all related. It's not a matter of just producing, but using the gas and oil in power generation, in domestic uses, etc., which again reflects on the welfare and well-being of Egypt, of course.
Right. Dr. Ghaffar, in his speech, Minister of Petroleum said that the increase in petroleum exports is considered one of the most prominent achievements of the ministry in the past 2 years. What's your take on that, sir?
Absolutely, absolutely. As I mentioned, now that the prices are getting higher, means that the more we export, the better for our economy. And
Yes.
I sincerely hope that soon we reach the day where our production in oil is sufficient for our domestic use and gives us a possibility to export, because this is really something that can represent a major change in our economy.
Yes.
And we're talking our non-petroleum exports are increasing, but we want again to increase our, hopefully, our oil exports. So I am hopeful that the new discoveries once again will change the map, and we will become not only not an importer but an exporter, and this will mean a great deal for our Egyptian economy. So I hope that, of course, our minister knows exactly what he's talking about. So when he says that, he knows that things are getting better, which we sincerely hope they do.
Right. Well, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Raouf Ghaffar, political and economic expert. Many thanks for your insight. And moving forward with our news bulletin, Iran on Monday said talks with world powers in Vienna to restore the 2015 nuclear deal are complicated and difficult, but have not hit an impasse. Foreign Ministry spokesman Saeed Khatibzadeh said that the negotiations are complicated and difficult as they have reached key issues that need serious political decisions, especially by Washington. Details.
Iran on Monday said talks with world powers in Vienna to restore the 2015 nuclear deal are complicated and difficult but have not hit an impasse. Foreign Ministry spokesman Saeed Khatibzadeh said that the negotiations are complicated and difficult as they have reached key issues that need serious political decisions, especially by Washington. Meanwhile, Iran is engaged in negotiations with Britain, China, France, Germany and Russia directly and with the United States indirectly to revive the deal formally called Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA. The deal offered Tehran sanctions relief in exchange of its curbs and its nuclear program. But the U.S. unilaterally withdrew from the JCPOA in 2018 under then President Donald Trump and reimposed stiff economic sanctions, promoting Tehran to begin falling back on its commitments. The drive to salvage the 2015 nuclear deal